Oh, I guess we are live. Okay. Okay. Oh, wait, there's the 60 seconds. It's live. Okay. I guess, okay. Let's play it from the start. Wait. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we will get started here. Hi, my name is Tom Britz. Thanks for the handoff, Andrew. You did such a good job putting this all together. Uh, my name is Tom Britz, as I mentioned. I'm the CEO of Glacier Hops Ranch in Whitefish, Montana, here in the shadow of Glacier National Park. We're in the brewing ingredients business, as you might know by our name, specifically in the hops industry. With me is Kelly Priest, our sales and marketing manager here at Glacier Hops Ranch. And the topic we're addressing today is dealing with inconsistencies that you might have experienced in your hazy IPA, specifically how to keep the haze in your hazy, and as a bonus, how to completely eliminate hop creep. I do want to mention to you all while we're going through that, isn't that a lovely hazy attempt there? That we will be able to answer a few questions at the end of this, so we'll look for any comments that you have at the very end. Would love to know where you're at, what state, country, city that you're watching us from. I'd love to hear that too. So our approach today is to really to educate and inform you. That's where you're going to get the most value over this brief session. What we're going to focus on in the next few minutes, we'll start off with some insight into our Hopsoil pure steam distilled ingredient. What is it? Why does it work so well in addressing these specific brewing challenges? Now, hazy IPAs are awesome. We get that. We enjoy them, but they're not always easy to get consistent haze. We're going to talk briefly about some of the problems that we've repeatedly heard and with getting that consistency. If you have experienced any consistency issues with hazy IPAs in your brewing experience, please raise your hand right now. I promise you, you are in very good company. We've heard a lot of the premature and inconsistent settling issues, clumping, short shelf life. I'm sure you all could add more to that list. It's a problem for nearly everyone, big and small, we found. We honestly accidentally found a solution. We were not looking. In our attempts last year to develop a water-soluble technology with this Hopsoil ingredient, our emulsion technology provider came up with several levels of turbidity, ranging from pure clear all the way to milky hazy. And from all those selections, what we settled on as Hopsoil hazy is what came out of all of that research. We found out that this Hopsoil hazy format could not, in fact, would not settle. We learned that the shelf life of this hazy emulsion would last 12 to 16 months or more in beer. If you add that to the shelf life of our Hopsoil in bulk at 5 years and 3 to 5 times longer in beer than using pellets for dry hopping, we think we might have cracked the code here. We also had brewers tell us about their challenges with hop creep. It's become a major topic, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. So to explain what Hopsoil is, we're going to go to the source. So Kelly, if you'll roll that video. We are at the Scott Hop Yard near Whitefish, and Randy and his family have been growing hops for, this is probably their 5th year. They're growing Cascade, Centennial, and a proprietary Montana variety that we call Aroma, which is kind of like a pina colada, tropical fruit kind of aroma. This one here that I just smelled, this is Cascade. It's very citrusy, kind of almost a fresh grapefruit that's sweet, almost like a ruby red grapefruit. It's really awesome. And these are probably 2 weeks away from harvest. And so the aroma is very, very good. And we're going to be putting all of this into Hopsoil, which is our proprietary essential oil that we use for brewers. And this
may get shipped around the world. Wow, these are just about right. They're fantastic smelling. The yellow stuff that you see in there is actually called lupulin resin, and that's where all the magic happens in hops. There's probably, they say, as many as 1,000 different chemical compounds that are contained in this lupulin resin. Probably the most used and most famous are the alpha acids that create bittering for beer, the beta acids that produce the preservative action, and the fantastic oils that give it the smell. So the oils are comprised of terpenes, and that is what we capture through steam distillation at harvest time. That is used in hop-forward beers primarily to add a real punch so that you can get a fresh hopped seasonal on a year-round basis. And that's what we first fell in love with when we started doing this. And you can't get away from that fantastic fresh wow that you get. Boy, it smells good. I wish you could smell it. We're located in the heart of Whitefish, Montana, with the Big Mountain Ski Resort shadowing over us, and with Glacier National Park in our backyard. This is a pure essential oil, and it's going to float on top. And so therefore you get a big aroma boost, but you don't get much taste. And you'll get inconsistency in a beer or a cider or any other beverage with just the pure essential oil. This is our Hazy Hopsoil, and this is turned into a water-soluble emulsion. And look at that go to the bottom. It's a drop, 2 drops. If I were to leave this here, because of how the electrons are all positively charged, it will eventually self-suspend and distribute by itself. Otherwise, if you were just to carbonate this, that's all of the agitation that you need to give yourself a wonderful hazy beverage that will stay in suspension for 12 to 16 months or longer. I can smell it from here. We have another version of our Hopsoil that we call Magic. Now this is different. This is much more concentrated. All I'm doing is I'm putting a wet toothpick in there, and if this was pure oil, it would mostly float on the top. But this is actually going into the water so that it not only has both aroma, but it has flavor. A little bit of this oil goes a long, long ways. I've been a commercial brewer for 14 years, and when I had the opportunity to meet with Tom, he did the test for me, and the wonderful aroma test. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. It was because of that taste test that got me interested and here to be a part of his great company. I'm super excited. As a brewer, this stuff is the stuff, man. I'm telling you, it's great. Cheers.
There we go. Thanks. So that'll give you a little bit better idea of really what Hopsoil is, where it comes from, than me talking and so on and so forth. So let's talk about hop creep. It really was never a problem before the development of these significantly hop-forward beers. But if you start adding 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds per barrel dosing rate, the rules change. So you know from dry hopping that all that extra biomass can create a secondary fermentation. You get dissolved oxygen, the formation of diacetyl, out-of-spec beer. I'm not even going to start going into things like exploding bottles and fun stuff like that. So it was never a problem with light beers like lagers, pilsners, things of that nature, the styles that are not heavily hopped. So, but you start adding all those extra hops, it's to get the kind of beers that your customer want. It creates a whole set of secondary problems. The solution that our customers found is pretty straightforward. And if you think about it, if you think about adding Hopsoil, the extract, you could tell from the video that the consistency of this stuff is more like an olive oil compared to the heavy, the thick CO2 extract with alpha acids and whatnot in it. And I should add to this point also, there is zero alpha acid in Hopsoil. It is pure hop oil. It's pure terpenes, and it's only for a late addition, cold side only addition. But if you think of this as liquid dry hopping instead of dry hopping with pellets, you get it. It's pretty straightforward. No pellets and dry hopping means no biomass. Even if you cut back on the pellets and supplemented with some of the hazy Hopsoil, it's still going to help your position in terms of hop creep. Pure hop oil, Hopsoil, intense aroma and flavor, hop creep, gone. So our customers shared some other findings. We found statistically that they were losing in terms of the yield loss, roughly about 10% of their beer for every pound and a half of pellets per barrel. So that number actually is somewhere about for every 7.5, for every pound you put in, it's between 6.8 and 7.5% of your beer that you lose. And that's greatly impacted, of course, by the equipment. Centrifuge certainly helps, but it doesn't eliminate it completely. So if you're looking at a really heavily hopped hazy, juicy IPA, 3-4 pounds, crazy amounts, you're looking at the ability to pick up 20 to 30% more beer with every batch, and that becomes a reality. And what our customers have come to us and they've said basically they're making more money with every batch, and that becomes really a measure of an efficient business operation, which as an industry is becoming really a focal point in this post-COVID era. It's really brewers who we look at as artists, and then we look at the owners or the bean counters as the fiscal level of that, and the artists want to make the best beer that they possibly can, but there has to become a balance. And in so much last year, and just coming out of it right now, the focus on efficiency, in brewing efficiency and squeezing more dollars out of every batch is a big deal. We've had several brewers help us to develop a costing worksheet that allowed them to input their existing hard costs while acknowledging some of their soft costs like labor or increased throughput or things like that. They were actually able to plug in their actual hard costs that, going back and forth, we were able to identify for hop pellets, shipping, hard costs, and then compare that to what it would mean with Hopsoil, whether it was a full replacement, a partial replacement, whatever it was, and actually get a real good idea, and then do it in 3 different business models: a tap room, cans and bottles, or just kegs only. So we have that for you, and we can share that. What we've learned is for Hopsoil, or for hop forward beers, Hopsoil is not a cost. It makes you money. We even had a small brewer in Albuquerque tell us, I guess it was late last year, that the extra revenue that he generated with every batch of his hazy, juicy IPA kept him alive during the thick of the pandemic, the extra money that he was making on every batch. And it could be the same for you. Without robbing a bank, it's perfectly legal. It's smart business, actually. Plus, our customers are seeing longer shelf life in the beer. That hop aroma compared to the pellet aroma, there is some science behind it. I won't get into it here, but it is lasting 3 to 5 times longer with the aroma, the sensory impact from Hopsoil than using pellets, where there's usually a fall off the cliff, 60, 90 days after packaging. You never want to freeze this stuff. Storing it at room temperature is best. If you don't use the whole container, just top it off with some CO2 and reseal it. It stores really well. It's okay to put it in the fridge, but never put it in a freezer. Also, shipping is really a breeze. We can ship two liters of this stuff for 15, 16 bucks, something like that, anywhere in the country, FedEx 2-day, and you certainly can't do that with a pallet of pellets, which would be about what it's equivalent. So those are kind of the wave tops. We'd love to share the nitty gritty with you, the details and findings. If you want to learn more, there's a lot of information that any of our Hop Squad team members can share with you. Just send us an email. The address there, hops@glacierhopsranch.com, or give us a call. We'll be happy to walk you through, answer your questions. Todd, who you saw on the video, he's our technical brewing advisor here as well. So we might have a couple minutes to answer some questions, and I'm not seeing any questions. So I think we're okay. So I think that's it. Thanks for your attention today. We're the next session with Julia Hertz promises to be an interesting session, so enjoy. Thanks again for all of your attention. Cheers.